Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right, we're back with our weekly podcast featuring members of the crew. I got Calvin Thomas, Justin B. the Barber Harris. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm feeling great.
It was a delayed reaction. Yeah, it's good. It's a good week. It's a good week.
I was checking my mic status, Paul.
Yeah, you all right. So, Calvin, you won a cruise this past week. How was it?
It was lovely. It was great to get away from this 10-degree weather.
Oh, he's hot already. He's pissed. All right.
come back to snow.
My man had the guns out, man. I saw you. I see you over there.
Man, took my son to the. Yeah, it was a great family vacation.
That's all that matters. There you go.
I can't say that on camera.
But I thank you all for your thoughts and concern. I was down with that flu. I know our last show I wasn't feeling well. It got worse, guys. It got worse, and I just simply could not get myself back into full form to be here last week. And unfortunately, it was a very newsworthy week that we missed. But we're going to catch you all up. Give us your thoughts on everything that's been going on. So we have to start right at the top. We're going to try to get this done by 11 o'clock. I promise you we're going to try, but it's a lot. The biggest news of the past week, the Baltimore Ravens, of course, the last time we spoke, they fired John Harbaugh. That was what the talk of the town was. And then on that Tuesday, Steve Bisciotti, owner of the Baltimore Ravens, held a press conference. Now, if you know, typically the head coach, which was previously John Harbaugh, GM Eric DeCosta, that has been the norm that they would do the State of the Ravens address after the season. And you rarely hear from owner Steve Bisciotti, but given the fact that John Harbaugh has been with the team for so long, he decided, I'm going to take questions from the media, and he spoke directly to the people on last Tuesday. I have many thoughts on the things that were said at that press conference, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some clips. So this was one of the main things.
Led the league in giving up big leads in the fourth quarter. It's not something that winning organizations do. We have underperformed based on our seeding in the playoffs. Very disappointing. A lot of players involved, a lot of our great players involved, making mistakes that they don't make during the regular season very often. But I just thought it was something that in the last 10 years, we've won the third most games in the NFL. And yet people were saying we were underachievers. But I got to the point that I didn't believe that I would feel regret after I made that decision. And that's what instinct is. When you finally get to the point that you're pretty damn sure that you are not going to regret the decision a day or a week later, then that's the time to make the decision. That you can look at a lot of guys on our team that we had expected to take the next step that did not take that next step. And we've got to get to the bottom of that with coaching and scouting. But a lot of them are talking the truth, if you will. In other words, AFC Championship to division round to not making the playoffs, we own that. That's us.
If Tyler Loop makes that field goal, is John Harbaugh still here coaching this team?
For a week. And I just hope you respect me enough to know that I 100% my instincts told me this was the time. We had run our course. And if I didn't have the guts to say to my partners, you're on the fence and I'm on the fence and I'm slipping on this side, and I believe that your love for John and your respect for John is holding you back this much. And I made the decision by myself.
So that's comments. I know I played a lot of that, but I thought it was important that we give context to the conversation. Yeah. And that's what the owner said. He's the owner. He owns the team. He has every right to say everything he said in that clip. Calvin, I'll start with you. What was your thoughts on the comments made by owner Steve Bisciotti in that press conference?
It made me at ease because a couple weeks ago when we talked about it, I felt that there was a rush decision, that it was an emotional decision. Just firing John Harbaugh via a phone call, not face to face, kind of making it what seemed to be a decision after a tough loss. But if you listen to this press conference, a couple things he said. One, this decision kind of came about at the Thanksgiving game against the Patriots. I'm sorry, against the Bengals. And it kind of steamrolled to when they played the Patriots a couple weeks later. In addition, Harbaugh was out whether or not they won that game against Pittsburgh or not. Whether or not they advanced in the playoffs or not, he was out, and the decision had been made at that point. So when you add that together and the fact that he made his decision, he wanted to have a meeting with Harbaugh, and Harbaugh kind of felt like this was going to happen, and Harbaugh decided to have the conversation on the phone instead of meeting face to face. I was comfortable with the decision because he was firm in his decision, and it was not something that I felt like he was pressured into by the fans, by the media. It was something he said, we've regressed the last 3 years. We should have won more, and we won the third most amount of games. We should have a Lombardi trophy. And I was comfortable with him saying that and him understanding that it starts at the top, especially when your head coach does not answer to your GM, but he answers to the owner, which is something else he also mentioned. When you have to be held accountable, which is why EDC kind of got let off the hook a little bit. When he answers to him, your head coach answers to your owner, and then his answers, his reasoning, his explanations for what happens on the field aren't up to his standard, and he gets let go. I'm okay with what Bisciotti said. I'm okay with this way of explaining it. I'm even okay with what he said about Lamar. This was a decision that he made because he feels like this team should have won and can win more even post Harbaugh. So I'm okay with the decision now. And I think the press conference put a lot of fans at ease at that point as to why Harbaugh was let go and the manner that it happened.
Justin, what was your thoughts?
I think the man lied right to our faces. I think he lied.
100%.
When he asked that question, if Luke makes that kick,
he lied.
And then he said with no hesitation, about a week. What you mean? That means you would have been playing in the first round. Suppose you win that round. Suppose you win the next round.
He's
like you automatically assume that you was going to lose with this.
So he meant this season, but it sounded good. It was a quote to say in the week. It sounded better.
That sounds salty. That's what that sounds. That sounds like it was some villainry there. Some.
He was trying to be funny.
Ether.
He was trying to be funny.
It was ether there. So I think I believe that John Harbaugh had that conversation over the phone, and John Harbaugh might have said some things, and then Bisciotti was like, "Yo, I'm the owner. Like, you can get up out of here." And I think they had an exchange on that degree. That wasn't a peaceful exchange because he wouldn't have came across like that. That just gives a little bit of pettiness to that.
Too much credit.
I think you're missing. I think you're missing some key points to this. We talked about this firing 2 weeks ago. That the details about the phone call didn't come out the same day. It came out later. When we talked about this, it was a Wednesday. We didn't know about the phone call.
We know about the next day because the article came out the next day because it came out that Thursday.
They had a meeting and were talking throughout the day face to face. He told him you needed to get rid of your coordinators, and Harbaugh said no. That's what happened. And
wait. So I thought that they didn't meet face to face. He was on the phone. He wasn't in town at that point. No, I thought he wasn't in town at that point.
He was. He called him as he was leaving the facility and fired him.
Yeah, correct. He called him when he was out. But from what it later came out, I thought they didn't meet face to face because he didn't get in town until Monday. Okay,
they did meet something different. It's bullcrap. That's what I'm saying. This is all bullcrap. You try to act like no. He got pissed that Harbaugh didn't buck. He didn't let go of Monken. Exactly. He didn't, because why would you let go of Monken? That's the thing. I
agree with that.
It still don't make sense to me.
I agree with that.
And my problem with the whole press conference, I thought everybody praising him. Oh, that's how our owner's supposed to be. I thought he came off cocky. I thought he came off smug. I thought he came off like
you only get one side to the story. I didn't hear Harbaugh's press conference. So I don't know if he responded.
I heard Harbaugh, and he never mentioned Bisciotti, but saying thank you for the time there, kept it classy. He moved on with his life. My point is,
Jerry Jones is to me. That came across on the Jerry Jones side.
He came off a week ago. He came off to me like a member of the Sopranos or something like that. Like he like, hey man, this. I'm going back down to Florida. He like, I don't come to work. I've been working on Zoom all this time before COVID. Like, he not a hands-on owner like people trying to craft him as. Harbaugh, and it made you very clear that him and Eric DaCosta are homeboys. They ain't no, he picked EDC. This was a
EDC and a Lamar indirectly.
This was EDC or Harbaugh. One of them got to go.
It also was he blamed Harbaugh for more of the decision with the team because
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So he said that this decision was made, or one of y'all said it like a couple weeks ago, right? Like
he said Thanksgiving.
He said it's the Cincinnati game, I think.
He was pissed off about losing. Yeah. Who wouldn't be pissed off?
So if that decision was made then, where's your head coach now?
Thank you.
When you have that next guy, other teams are signing their head coach now.
Yeah.
Wow. If this is already,
we're gonna talk about that. Hold up. Let's not jump ahead.
My bad.
I want to play this next clip because what pisses me off is, look, Harbaugh not perfect as a coach. We've already discussed that. That's been litigated to death. He has another job. But my problem with the whole thing is it came off because even they was bumping fists, laughing and joking. This was like EDC's done this perfect job putting this roster together, which is simply not true. And the fact that, go ahead.
Do you blame EDC more for just their job title? EDC and constructing the team, Harbaugh coaching the team. Who deserves more blame for this season?
The injuries to Lamar Jackson.
The offensive
line. So who's that fall under? Who's that fall under?
EDC because you ain't had no protection for your quarterback. And we know the offensive line was no offensive line
injury.
Okay.
And we know Metabike went out. And we like there are things you could tangibly point to say why we regressed. Like it's not like, and again, I'm not saying that this was a good season. To battle back from 1-5 to give yourself a chance on the last game of the season, and you can say, "Oh, if Tyler Luke would have missed the kick, it made the kick, I would have fired him anyway." So you telling me we start slow because our quarterback is missing? We have injuries all over the field. Roquan Smith was out. We had, how many injuries did we go through during that stretch? That kind of
most injured team this year.
In addition to, we had a very difficult schedule to start the year with all first place teams. Like, I think you got to put context to this. And then when Lamar came back and we won the 5 in a row, Lamar wasn't healthy and wasn't playing great. So we still finished Derrick Henry's second leading rusher in the league. Well, it's not like we didn't have glaring holes that we overcame is what I'm trying to say. So if you want to say is we had the players and the coaching didn't do their job, I think that's your lens. That's your lens. But I can look at it. They got more out of some of these players than really they should have, in my opinion. But again, let's speak to this whole the culture behind this, how the things are set up. Both EDC and Harbaugh report to Bisciotti, right? So during Harbaugh's time, only the Patriots have more wins in the NFL. They're the only team who has.
I thought you said they were third.
No, he said over the last 10 years. I'm talking about the whole 10 years, the whole 18 years.
Oh, 18 years, okay.
Then there's a stat that Harbaugh has blown out more teams than, we all talk about the blown leads, but look how many teams they've blown out over that time period. And that's even crazier since Lamar's taken over. So you get credit for one, but you don't get credit from the other. And you don't get credit for being prepared and ready to win. And then that's context to why some of these things happen that can be pointed to. You were relying on rookie receivers. You're relying on offensive linemen who were pitch patch guys to come in and play like starters minutes. I just think the press conference didn't come off like a guy that really knew what he was talking about. But I'll play another clip because it pissed me off.
When they call me up from Florida, you better get your ass up here too. Because if you want to do the interviewing, these are going to be full-day meetings like they were 18 years ago. A lot to say, but he has no power. I have the power. They have opinions, and I want them all. I care about my players very much, but I can't give them power. It took Billick 2 years, John 5. Maybe I'll give this guy 6.
So that's my problem. I have a serious problem with that type of quote. I have a serious problem with that type of quote. Calvin, you're a Ravens fan. You fire this coach because you believe this team is ready to win now, and that coach couldn't get them over the hump. You telling me you're going to sign Lamar Jackson for a rebuild project, or is this a team that's ready to win next year? What are we doing? Is the expectation that whoever takes over this team next year, we have to lower our expectations now, or are we ready to win the Super Bowl with this next coach? You tell me.
Why would you think anything less than division title, competing in the playoffs is
The man
what,
just said
what's
I'll
the
get this
plan?
guy 6 years.
I thought the question was framed: how long would you give this guy a chance to win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I mean, you have to compete in order to win the Super Bowl. I think the question was asked in a way was make it seem like if you have a bad year next year, you firing that coach. Not in a way as to I'm giving you 6 years to win the Super Bowl. I think the way the question was framed the way his answer was framed is based off how the question was asked. It wasn't saying that he had 6 years to win. It was saying this is what I expect because this person won in 2, this person won in 5. Look, I'll give you grace to say 6, but it's only because I want to win next year as well. Because he also pointed out the fact that he's only going to plan on owning the team for another
10 years.
Said 10 years, unless he's competing in that 10-year part, then they'll have it for 11 years.
But he also said he won the Super Bowl in the next 3 years. He said he wanted one in the next 3 years. So that's my question.
The other problem I have is you have reporters down there that are reading into each and everything. So we know the Mike Prestons, the Jerry Colemans of the world who are going to dig deep and try to make something out of nothing based off these quotes. So by playing them off and by playing those guys next to him, you're kind of lightening the mood. Now I think based off the press conference, he expects to win next year. This is not a rebuild. Now, can you do that with a rookie head coach? That's another question you're going to ask.
I have a serious problem with this decision. I'm gonna say this: you're
still hung up on a fire, and that
you don't fire John Harbaugh to go get an unproven coach that's supposed to do anything different.
And then if you go back to the press conference once again, I'm not defending him, but he made the comment about hiring a former coordinator.
He said he don't mind hiring a loser, somebody who lost elsewhere.
And that's why everyone thought it was going to be Stefanski at that point for the last
Stefanski
week. And then
told him no.
Well, I'm not saying I don't think he told him no. I think
I heard that.
Okay,
Stefanski
I didn't hear that.
Atlanta job because of Kirk Cousins. He coveted that job because they run his system, West Coast system down there. He was already ready for it.
But he was the third option down there too, so I'm not going to say he coveted the job.
I don't know about third.
Tomlin was first.
I know Harbaugh
Tomlin
was
said
first. I mean, Tomlin was never even in the running.
Tomlin, Harbaugh 1-2. So I'll say fourth. Tomlin, Harbaugh, and they wanted to interview McDermott, and he said no. So Stefanski wasn't first or second or third on that list.
Stefanski is the best offensive mind that was available. I think that's
he's the
great
best offensive mind with former head coach experience in my opinion.
And we'll
I'm not
talk
going to
about
say
that
best
in a
offensive
minute.
mind.
But let's get back to this. So moving on, the Giants hired John Harbaugh last week. Excellent hire, perfect hire for that team. A CEO who's going to go in there. They got young talent, they got defensive talent, they got offensive talent, and I think he'll get that team ready. And I've said it, I'm a Giants guy now. I mean, it is what it is. That's my team.
How long before him and the GM butt heads? Because
don't matter. He reports to the owner.
You're right. So GM's out next year. So
probably
his guys will be there next year. So if it don't matter if you do a job and like Harbaugh gets the credit.
What do you mean? If they work together,
but
they're not working. They're not working together. If I can't do my job independent of your job, we're not working together. We're working side by side. Where you make your decisions.
Decently together because he chose to go there.
He chose to go there because he got the power. I ain't gonna say he chose to go there because of the GM.
No.
He chose to.
This roster
he negotiated with the owner, not with the GM. The GM.
Let me ask you a question. If you've been used to reporting directly to the owner your whole career, why would you want a difference from that?
I have no problem about asking that. I'm just saying, at what point does a GM get tired of that because he's not accustomed to that?
He's irrelevant. Get your players and let's get this job done.
That's my point. He's irrelevant. So why was he there now?
Anything he can say, he's the one getting the players. Harbaugh's the coach. He's reporting to the owner.
Harbaugh don't make personal decisions? That's the same thing.
Clearly, he didn't make them in Baltimore. That was part of the argument. That was part of the disagreement.
And why would you go to another job and not have that same and not have more of a not have
He's
more power?
the GM. He's the coach.
Okay.
He got a future wide receiver.
Okay.
He got a great wide receiver. A good running
Went and
back.
got
A
some
good
good
quarterback.
players.
The defensive
running
line
back?
should take a huge jump next year.
Who's the running back?
Scatterbo.
Oh,
Come on, man.
I mean, to bounce back to another job with a young
was
quarterback.
that you saying
And
that
a
you think that was the best
D-line?
job out
The
there?
Ravens don't have a
That was
D-line.
that was the best job out there.
I think
it was one of the
what
best.
he was looking for. I think that's what he
Okay.
was looking for. They got receiver, they got running back, they got quarterback, got 2 DNs, got some young corners. They got
pieces.
and they got money. They
just-
got money.
Money is the most important thing, but they
They
also
got
got
money.
they got the worst quarterback in the division. They play in one of the hardest divisions in the NFL. They're playing in a division in which
They got arguably the best line. They got the second best defensive line in that division too. So that cancels out a lot.
What did that do for them this year?
Well, that's why you got to get a new coach.
One was Dexter Lawrence and the other was Brian.
And they
Burns.
had a lot of injuries.
No, they
had
had
a lot
Brian
of
Burns, they had
injuries.
Thibodeau, they had Abdul Kader, they
He
had
had
Dexter
16.
Lawrence, and you're saying they had the best defensive line, which I agree with. But what did they give them this year when they averaged giving up 30 points a game?
Albert, neither here nor there.
Yeah, offense got
Harbaugh's
hurt.
there now. He's going to bring in his
What's that got to do
staff.
with defense? Give them 30 points a game.
I think you're a
Well, you can't
Cowboys
sustain
fan
drive.
who's intimidated.
No.
That's all it is.
My point is, I'll go back to my original point. I don't think the GM is too happy about the power that Harbaugh has. That's all I was saying.
What difference will it make? He don't
Do your
report
job.
to the GM. Like, who cares?
That's my point. He reports to the owner.
There's
like
the
he wanted
GM
to.
right there with Harbaugh. Congratulations, John. You got
You
your
never heard of
job.
photo op?
And as the Ravens still looking for a coach. So, Calvin, who's the Ravens getting as a head coach?
If you would ask me this question last week, I would have said Saleh. Obviously, he's going to
Salah's
Tennessee
gone. Next.
per reports today. It's going to be Kubiak. It's going to be Clint Kubiak.
You happy with that?
That's who's. In my position, in my opinion, when you have a great offensive coordinator, that's the first person to go on your staff when you're winning. Now, in the Ravens case, it's always a defensive coordinator. It's Mike McDonald. It's Rex Ryan. It's Marvin Lewis. They poach defensively instead of offensively. Even when you had Gary Kubiak, and arguably Flacco's best year, he left 2 years later to go back to Houston. But that was in his words, that was his dream job. That was the only place he would have left.
And won a Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, Denver. Yeah, and he said that was the only place he would have left for because of Peyton and whatever. So,
my question: why did they sign already? What we waiting for?
I think they want to interview him in person, and they can't do that until next week if they make the Super Bowl.
Playing.
Or either way they could do it next week. So I think that's what it is.
Anyway, another news for the week: Mike Tomlin stepped down as head coach of the Steelers. Basically, he was pushed out. They did it in a nice way. It's good. A man of his tenure, that's how it should be done. You know, John wasn't afforded that opportunity, but hey, it is.
But you gotta agree to do that on both ends. Harbaugh wasn't going to do that.
No, it could have been done in a classy way.
It could not have been done.
That's the Ravens way. That's the Ravens way.
How would they do that with Harbaugh? Explain how they would do that with Harbaugh.
Hey, John, it's not working out. We're gonna let you step away. Simple.
The difference, Mike Tomlin.
Don't call me on the phone and fire me.
Mike Tomlin doesn't want to coach next year. Harbaugh wants to coach next year.
Don't call me on the phone and fire me.
2 different ways.
Have me come in and let me speak to my team. And then try to hide behind and say it's the quarterback's fault. Like, stand on it.
So do you believe that Bisciotti asked Harbaugh to come back to the facility?
No. I think he did a big coward way and watched him as he drove away and then called him on the phone. He didn't want to face him like a man. That's what I think. But a good shout out to the Rooneys for handling things professionally, letting Mike Tomlin break the news to the team instead of something being shot out by Adam Schefter. The word was given to the team directly. And that's what 19 years at a well-run professional organization.
So Harbaugh need 1 more year to get this kind of exit. I got you.
Congratulations, Mike Tomlin. You're going to have a great seat at a broadcast network somewhere, doing a great job. And then next year, you'll have the pick of the litter, whatever job's available. Unfortunately, there's a lot of jobs that came available this cycle. So it's going to be odd.
You want to go to Atlanta.
We'll see how things go.
That's been a quiet rumor for years or for months.
Clearly, he didn't want to go that bad because he didn't take the job.
He wanted to take. I think he expected to be open next year. That everyone had heard that his family moving to Atlanta. He wanted to go down there. A year in advance.
I
Yeah,
ain't
early.
trusting none of the rumors you be hearing. You hear a lot of bull crap. Justin, what was your thoughts on this?
I'm telling you.
I agree with your opening statement. That's just a good way to go out. You give somebody 15 plus years. I think that's the least. That's the least you can do. To be honest,
We're not talking about how this is two different scenarios though. One doesn't want to coach next year. One
Can
does.
we not give Mike Tomlin his moment? Why you keep going back to old
It's two
news?
different things.
Go ahead, Justin. Finish your thought.
With that being said, I did want him to tap into Tampa Bay where he came from and see what was going on.
So wait. So you wanted them to hire a coach while y'all still had one?
Yes.
He wanted him fired.
Right. Fire the other one.
Yeah.
Promote the,
You trying to hire
At
somebody
least,
for you
at
fire
least call
somebody?
him into the office and fire him, though.
See what's going on with it. But
do
no,
it through text.
it's good. Like I said, he'll take a year off. I would love to hear him in media. My thing is, he might fall in love with media. He doesn't have that
Look
filter
at Bill
anymore.
Cowher never came back. They kept
He
thinking,
can kinda
Bill
talk.
be back.
Yeah, he might fall in love with the media side of it and just say,
Where you think he's going?
I done did this 19 years. I'm cool.
They
Where
say
you
he's going
think
to
he's going?
Fox. Him and Jay Glazer are tight. There's an opening there.
So who's
They
the
might
head-
get Terry
where's
up
the
out
opener?
of there. Might get
Who's
Terry
the
up out of
opener?
there. Huh? Terry
Who is
Bradshaw.
the opener?
Terry Bradshaw.
I didn't know he was leaving.
They might get him up out of there for Mike Tomlin.
Medical reasons he needs to go.
He crazy. That nigga's crazy. Anyway, I mean, it's opening at CBS. Matt Ryan just took the GM job.
I was gonna say CBS.
But I think either way, he'll find a lot of good money in TV. Very, very expressive is a good term for it. I think he would be good for that. But shout out to Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, classy organization, how they handle things. Good on them.
Did you hear from him? He's working Super Bowl.
I didn't hear that, but
He's going to be commentating. But NBC
who
has
had
Super Bowl.
NBC has
NBC.
Yeah. Anyway, we talked about it briefly. Kevin Stefanski, new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I like this move. I actually do because I mean, look, I didn't think that the Atlanta needed to fire their coach the way they did after winning 4 straight at the end of the year, only his second year. But if you, with all of these coaches out there on the market this season, if you don't think Vance Joseph was going to be able to get you over the hump and get you to, is it Vance Joseph or
No,
Raheem Morris?
Raheem Morris.
I always get them two mixed up. But you know what I mean? If you don't think they're going to get you over the hump,
Trying to say all black people like.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But they retained the defensive coordinator because he did a good job.
Yeah.
He did a very good job.
It's a very
Stefanski, I
winnable
think,
division, too.
offensive mind, I think Kirk Cousins, when he was his most successful, it was in Minnesota
under Stefanski.
At Stefanski offense. That's the same offense.
2019, 2018, one of them
He was one of the best. He got paid. He got all that money. So I think this was like perfect. And Penix can learn that system because that system last year with Arthur Rhodes and what's his name? Not Arthur Rhodes. He used to be in Tennessee. Yeah, I think it was a little too of a pro system. It didn't really unlock the tight end until later in the season when they kind of implemented more Kirk Cousins types plays. They had to morph the offense. But I thought you could have got more out of Pitts early. And a tight end really eats in Stefanski's system if it's run correctly. So I'm very interested in this move. What's your thoughts,
Zach Robinson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some guys, I had a feeling that once Kevin was going to go to Atlanta, I was like, Penix is not starting. Not at all.
Yeah.
No. And it's
he's already out for half the year, right?
I don't think that mattered, brother. I think he went into that situation knowing that I'm not dealing with no foolishness from people that don't look like himself. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna just leave it. I'm gonna drop that off and leave it there. With that being said, he's still a good. He does his job well. And with those weapons in Atlanta, they're just it's like a nuclear. It's like a nuclear bomb. They're just waiting for that right person to put in the code so they can just take over the league. Like I'm not even joking. Like, this team is primed and ready, especially if they can re-sign Kyle Pitts or get him.
He's definitely coming back.
For an extended period of time. Back. But I mean, he might come back when you got.
I think he getting franchised. He coming back.
Okay, back. I'm just saying. So back. So you can bring him back, man. Drake London, like he was having a good season, but without the injury. So it's problematic to say the least. But it's a very very good pickup, and I was wishing that they would have actually got somebody else, to be honest with you, because on the Tampa Bay side of things, he could be the one to unleash this offense. And the defense played well this year. The defense was
really
very good
down the stretch.
Especially down the stretch. Yeah.
So they're ready. They're ready. We'll see.
Look at who they beat. They beat Buffalo, playoff team. They beat the Rams, playoff
team. They beat Tampa Bay.
They beat Tampa Bay. They beat Carolina. They played well down the stretch and they had a tough schedule. I think you can also assume Joe Flacco will be the backup quarterback down there next year as well.
I think so.
He ran that offense. I mean, Penix is out until mid-year. You need a backup for Kirk Cousins. We saw what Joe Flacco did in this offense a couple years ago, leading that team to the playoffs. I think it's a perfect match. Look, this team can be dangerous. They have cap space, don't have a first-round draft pick, but in a non-quarterback draft, are you really reaching? You're going to be reaching for picks anyway. Other teams,
another 4 years, easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Before we move on, I'm still a little frustrated. So Clint Kubiak, that's your choice, Calvin?
That's what I think it's going to be.
Who's your choice?
At this point, it's Kubiak. It's Kubiak. I thought it was going to be a Salah McDaniels. Salah run the defense. McDaniels going to be the OC. Maybe you get Flores as well.
I thought you liked Flores. What happened?
I didn't like Flores. I asked, why does everyone like Flores? That was my question. I never said I wanted Flores. He's my number one pick. But at this point, I think it's Stefanski. I think it's the OC somewhere, unless something else happens.
So I think the Flores thing goes with your Robert Saleh. Why did you want Robert?
I think Robert Saleh did a great job with the defense in New York. It wasn't the offense wasn't his problem. It was Aaron Rodgers running this team on offense. I think he didn't even have control of that offense at any part. It was Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator. It was Aaron Rodgers' system. So when things went bad, he was blamed for it, even though it was all Aaron Rodgers and Woody Johnson acquiesced to Aaron Rodgers. I think if he can fix the defense, I think he can bring in a great OC. He has a relationship with McDaniels from San Francisco as well. So I think they have great communication. So I think you're fixing one side of the ball, and I think he is a great leader. Look what he did with the injuries that they had out there in San Francisco, and I think he can bring in a great OC.
Them in a minute.
So I think him over Flores. I never understood the Flores angle because I think people felt sorry for what happened to him in Miami, and that's what their entire reasoning was. It was nothing football related. It was him. He got a raw deal in Miami, and now look what he's doing in Minnesota. I'm like, okay,
well.
Okay,
I get it.
No one has explained why. That's the only problem I have. I'll ask the question. They'll just say, "Look what he did in Minnesota." Okay,
I'm gonna tell you who I would have picked. This is how I would have picked
for the season. 36-6. Man, what more do you need to say? It's amazing. It's tremendous. It's one of the best. Should I say it? Huh, Marshall? It's not bad for a running back. Come on, coaches, go for it. Go for it. Let's go.
Jackson, first down, touchdown. 8-yard touchdown run by Lamar Jackson on 4th and 2.
Most quarterbacks worry about stats. I'm about my team. You get his stats. Why you're a leader? I love him too. I don't know, but I love the way you play too. Appreciate it. You just don't play. You just attack. All you do is attack. Hey, ball. That's all I know. I watch it. That's how all my life. You know me little kids in this country. We're wearing number 8 playing quarterback for the next 20 years. I can't wait to see it when I get older. But right now, I got to get right now. It's right. Yeah. Get it. It's right. Start with 1.
There's a lot of great things said about Lamar, but there's a lot of stuff that's said that you got to just scratch your head about and kind of wonder, what's that person even thinking, So, but we take it personally. Lamar's a guy all his life, Lamar Jackson has been a guy who's been answering those same questions. I'm talking about since he was a kid, junior high, high school, college, the draft, the success he's had in the National Football League, and it still comes up. Okay? Now, he's still growing. He's got a growth mindset. He's going to get better and better, no doubt. But what does he have to do to prove himself to some people, right? And I believe the Ravens and we've always had a vision for Lamar Jackson. It started with Lamar's vision and his mom's vision when he said he was going to be a quarterback. He was going to be a quarterback in high school. He's going to be a quarterback in college. He's going to be a quarterback in the National Football League. The vision for Lamar Jackson, and it's a vision, it's something you see it like it's already happened.
Wait for it.
You can see it like it's already been done. The victory has already been won when you pour into a vision. And the vision that we have together is that Lamar Jackson is going to become and be known and be recognized as the greatest quarterback ever to play in the history of the National Football League.
He stood up for that man time and time again, and he stabbed him in the back. That's what happened. But I'll move on. Thanks, Lamar. You're the best. Punk. Anyway.
So blaming Lamar. Oh, you going taking shots at Lamar.
I'm a Giants fan. I've moved on. I've moved on. Y'all moved on. I moved on.
I better see you in some navy blue Giants gear.
Hey, I already ordered my nickname is Blue. So it's almost a perfect fit. Big Blue. You know what I mean? That's what they call the Giants. They wear that royal. That's my color.
Go get you a Jackson Dog jersey.
Get that coach's jersey before any other jersey.
Hey, Malik neighbors.
You gonna get number 18 for Harbaugh?
Nah, man. I
18
like
for them
that
18
D-line.
years.
They got some studs over there. I'm ready, baby. I told Reggie we going to a Giants game. Anyway, the Buffalo Bills were defeated by the Denver Broncos this past weekend, 33-30 in overtime. What a thriller. Bo Nix put on a hell of a performance, made the game-winning touchdown throw. This game tied and sent to the overtime. But in overtime, he made some big-time plays that earned them the game-winning field goal. A lot of controversy, but at the end of the day, Bo Nix and the Broncos did what needed to be done to win the game. Unfortunately, news came after the game from Sean Payton saying Bo Nix broke his ankle, and he'll be missing the rest of the playoffs. Terrible news. Going into the AFC Championship game with a backup quarterback and Jarrett Stidham starting against the New England Patriots next week. A lot of people not giving the Broncos any chance to win that game. But overall, you got to give the Broncos team a lot of credit for getting that win. In the loss, Josh Allen was left in tears, taking the loss on the chin, feeling like it was all his fault. Taking it full responsibility to blame. He had 5 turnovers in the game. Interceptions, fumbles, a couple fumbles that he could have lost, but they were able to recover. At the end, there was a controversial interception that was taken from Cooks, but pretty much it was an interception. It is what it is. You got to survive the ground with the ball, and Denver was able to pull out a big victory at home. They were the number 1 seed. It's not like they weren't playing well all year, but a lot of people had no faith in Bo Nix. And unfortunately now Nix is lost for the year. But the biggest story is, how do we look at the loss? How do we divvy up the blame? Well, the Buffalo Bills decided we're going to divvy it up by firing our head coach. So after a week of all the turmoil and talk about John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, all these coaches, you add another coach to the pile, and Sean McDermott, who's been in Buffalo for 9 years, 8 playoff appearances, a record of 98-50, 5 AFC East titles, but doesn't have a Super Bowl on his resume, and he's out in Buffalo. Justin, when you heard this news, what was your thoughts?
Boy, this is a franchise that coddles their Super Bowl supposedly hopeful in Josh Allen. 2 seasons ago, and 2 seasons ago, I had a list going, and Trevor Lawrence was on that list. Justin Herbert was on that list, and I said I'm gonna give Josh 1 year without Stephon Diggs to see how he does. To his credit, he fooled me. That's what he did. He fooled me, and he ended up winning the MVP. That's what he ended up doing.
Undeserved.
Okay, understood. So we're going this year. ups and downs, but he took his team to the playoffs. That's what he did. He took his team to the playoffs. And when he got there, had a phenomenal first game. And had one of the worst games until CJ showed up I have ever seen out of a quarterback. There is no explanation for 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. He overthrew Knox, which he could have scored on that. He underthrew Khalil. Like he was missing wide open guys. And to me, that's in the playoff, that's a turnover just like the rest of them, damn near, when you miss wide open plays. So, you know, slight issues with Cooks. I mean, he did get a fumble too, but nah, man. I mean, the end of the first half when he ran and got that fumble was terrible. He played like he'd never been in this situation before. He played like a rookie. He played like, you know, and I guess that post game when he was crying, I was like, yo, that should be Bo Nix. Bo Nix should be out there crying. He gave it his all, went down, came back, won the game, and got hurt. And he still played through it. But it's too much. You know, I get that. It's an injury. He should be crying. You just was sad and pathetic. I don't want to see your tears. The whole team didn't want to see it. No one wants to see Josh Allen, a grown-ass man, cry like this on TV. Say that acting for your wife. She can do it. Let her do it. We don't need to see you do it. I'd rather see Hallie do it. With that being said, like I said, this franchise just said, you know what, somebody got to go. And they're not going to say anything about Josh Allen. So they gave it to the coach, and he got the bug. It wasn't his fault. Not this time. I understand there's issues with him. I understand he couldn't get to the promised land as well. There we go. I understand that. However, it's one thing and one thing only. He didn't throw those interceptions. He didn't tell Josh Allen to run. He didn't cause those fumbles. That was Josh Allen, and that should be 100% on him. So,
Calvin, your thoughts?
If you weren't going to fire him after Kansas City scored that field goal in 13 or 14 seconds, whatever it was at the end of the AFC Championship game, he didn't deserve to go. You want to make the argument that his defense, he's a defensive head coach, and the defense struggled in the playoffs. Well, when you're playing so many older players and you're playing so many retreads, name one star on that defense. Name one player. You can't. Joey Bosa's been done for 3 years, so you got the corpse of Joey Bosa. The problem with this team is Billy Beane is the GM. He has drafted Brandon Beane. I'm sorry. He's drafted Josh Allen. He drafted James Cook, and he's drafted one other Pro Bowler, not all Pro Bowler since 2018. And you will never even guess who it was because he don't even start anymore. That's the problem. The lack of talent on this team. I'm no Josh Allen fan, no Josh Allen apologist, but this team has gotten progressively worse the last 2 to 3 years and has been more put on Josh Allen's plate. I'm not knocking Sean McDermott. He's only been playing with the chips that the hand he's been dealt with these players, but he's gotten the most out of them. When you want to say their window is closed because New England has reemerged, they still have the best quarterback in the division. And that's not taking anything away from Drake May, but Josh Allen's in a completely different stratosphere than Drake May. Sean McDermott deserved more respect. He was underappreciated in Buffalo, and all the only chip he had to play was Josh Allen week in and week out. Yeah, he wants to say he was doing too much. When you take away Stephon Diggs, don't replace him. You draft Keon Coleman, who was your first rounder, what is he? Your fourth string receiver. You know, the only other Pro Bowl you drafted, like I mentioned, was Dawson Knox, who doesn't even start because Kincaid starts. So, like, I'm not blaming McDermott. I'm blaming the pieces that put around him. He didn't deserve to go. He's the best coach that they've probably had since the mid-90s. He's the only coach Josh Allen's had. They've equally made each other better, in my opinion. I think he deserved more respect than in Buffalo.
You know, I just want people to be consistent. That's all. I just want people to be consistent. If you saying a coach has an MVP type quarterback, they need to make it to and or win a Super Bowl in 8-9 years, and you don't make it or win a Super Bowl with no Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow, no dominant team in the AFC, and the barometer, and you a Super Bowl or bust type team, and you go out in the divisional round, not even the AFC Championship game, with no Mahomes, no Lamar, no Burrow, like whose fault is it then? Because when y'all tell me the Ravens, John Harbaugh needed to be fired because he had Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson saved his job, I could say Josh Allen is the reason why Sean McDermott been winning all these games for all these years. So you're not going to get rid of Josh Allen, who you just paid all his money to. I 100% agree, and I said it 2 years ago when I picked the Buffalo Bills to win the division after they let Stephon Diggs go, after Gabe Davis walked, after they didn't give Josh Allen no weapons, and Sean McDermott still won the most games in the division, still made it to the AFC Championship game with a bag of bones and Josh Allen. He comes back this year and falls short because they don't have the talent, got nothing out of Keon Coleman, and you give Brandon Beane a raise and you get rid of the head coach. I give it the same level of pie I give to the Baltimore Ravens. Eric DeCosta, he gets to go scot-free. Brandon Beane, they get to go scot-free. It's the coach's fault you didn't go out and improve this roster. Now, y'all will say, well, the Ravens got more Pro Bowlers than the Buffalo Bills. It's about what positions you have these key players at. When's the last time the Ravens invested in a pass rusher? When's the last time? When's the last time the Ravens invested in a wide receiver of any note? You want to say Zay Flowers in the draft? I'll kick the coverage for sure. But let's not kid ourselves. The same thing can be applied to the Buffalo Bills. When's the last time? Now, these two teams mirror each other so very. James Cook, Derrick Henry. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. An aging Mark Andrews, an aging Dawson Knox. A younger tight end that they got over there in Kincaid, Isaiah Likely. They mirror each other. And at the end of the day, you expect the quarterback to pull out these miracles. Now, we have a Roquan Smith, and you do have a great safety who you drafted well. I'll give you credit for that. But I'm just saying, if you're going to blame Harbaugh, you blame McDermott in that case. But I don't blame either one of them. When you're expected to reach this pinnacle of Andy Reid or bust, if Andy Reid did not have Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs wouldn't have been that great either. Like, everybody want to make it like Andy Reid became this genius. Andy Reid was always a good coordinator, a good coach who couldn't win the big one, who couldn't win until he got the quarterback who could get him over the hump. So at some point, the only level of success can't just be winning a Super Bowl. I think if a head coach in 9 years goes to the playoffs 8 times, goes to the AFC, wins the AFC East 5 times, makes the AFC Championship game, 2 out of 3 years, and the only thing that really stopped them was outstanding performances by great quarterbacks and a Joe Burrow, great quarterbacks and a Patrick Mahomes. How is that the coach's fault? You just ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, it is what it is.
He never lost to Joe Burrow in the playoffs, I don't think.
They did lose to the Bengals. The year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. The 13 seconds game was the next year. The year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, they beat the Bills. And Josh didn't play well in that game. But anyway, I'm just saying, I just think you should be consistent. If you're going to blame, say that, the Bills ain't had the weapons to get the job done, it's the GM fault, and you look at that Ravens roster, I can pick it apart too. I know they got a couple more names in shiny positions, but if you look at the Bills roster on defense, they got some names, but like you say, older guys who don't have that much left in the tank no more. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. But no, Sean McDermott should not have got fired, and I think he's a good coach. When you coach, that's why I would not want to take that Buffalo job. And I would not want to take the Baltimore job. Because no matter what y'all say, those teams and the fan bases are expecting to win a Super Bowl next year. And anything short of that is a failure. Justin, am I right or wrong?
For the people of Buffalo, yes, they expect to win, especially after this season. And then same thing with the Baltimore Ravens. They expect Baltimore Ravens to bounce back and to contend for a title. So yes, anything less than a Super Bowl is considered a failure.
Calvin, you disagree with that?
No, you can say that for a lot of teams. So that's fair.
No, realistically, how many teams really can say that? Like, if the Cowboys don't win the Super Bowl next year, it's a failure. No, y'all just want to win
If
a playoff game.
Philadelphia doesn't win a Super Bowl next year, it's a failure.
Agreed.
If Detroit doesn't win a Super Bowl next year, it's a failure. If Denver with a healthy Bo Nix doesn't win a Super Bowl, it's a failure. I think you can say that for a lot of teams.
How credible is Mike Garofalo?
He's pretty credible. Yeah.
He just came. I just as I was scrolling, I just seen something that said that I guess some things about Harbaugh's coming out. Like, once the person's gone, stories are going to come out. In 2023, Harbaugh was one of the main people in the Ravens organization that said we need to draft Puka Nacua, and they did not listen to him. So that just got reported. So if you can think of Puka Nacua with Lamar Jackson, how would that look? So maybe
tell me that shit, please.
Maybe they wasn't listening to Harbaugh. Maybe.
I mean,
maybe
you're not going to when you got Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not going
to.
They
know everything. They know everything.
I mean, we can go back and say the same way you can go back and say they drafted David Ojabo over DK Metcalf. Same thing.
I'm not going. I mean, every GM has.
And they took Ojabo knowing he wasn't going to play the next year. Like
terrible decision.
So,
but he was promoted too. So here we go. Next up, the New England Patriots defeated the Houston Texans and now advanced to the AFC Championship game. Probably one of the more pathetic performances I've seen by a quarterback in quite some time. But everybody's hopping on CJ. I get it. It was a bad first half, man. Josh Allen wasn't no worse. I mean, Josh Allen was just as bad. They were just as bad. They were the same coin, same two sides to the same coin. They both play like shit. And I just think that CJ's all his shit came in the first half, and it squandered an excellent performance by that defense. And that's what I think pissed people off, because the defense actually, even despite him, they still had a chance to win the game. And that's the sad part. But CJ was terrible. I don't know if I would have benched him, but honestly, Davis Mills won some games this year. I might have gave him a look. I might have. I don't know what that would have done to CJ's confidence. But at that point, I'm trying to win a ball game. I'm trying to win a ball game. Calvin, what was your thoughts?
I think the problem with CJ, and it was a terrible game, is he's regressed so much since his rookie year. We think back to that rookie year, leading the team, winning the division, leading them to a playoff game here in Baltimore. And it's like he's regressed so much. Even going into this year, he regressed, and then your expectation for him was so low that he played a little bit better. And that was the start of that was Davis Mills coming in and win the game against Buffalo to keep their playoff hopes alive, and then continuing to win and even contend with Jacksonville for the AFC South. And then their defense played spectacular the last two and a half months of the season. And then you get this poor performance from CJ. And even a couple of years ago, that it was, Carolina drafted the wrong quarterback in Bryce Young. They should have drafted CJ. Now you're kind of waffling, like, did he even deserve to be drafted in the top 10? For whatever reason, if it's his confidence, if it's mechanics, if it's but you also have to look at it like, look, you're missing your number one target, Nico Collins.
And your left tackle. And
you're missing your left tackle. Your tight end went out midway through the first quarter or first half as well. Yeah. So you're down to your second string receivers.
Why did he go out?
Because CJ threw it behind him, and he tried to refill the ball, and his knee buckled.
But the point is he didn't play. The point is he didn't play.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. It didn't have to be this way.
The point is he didn't play. But look, so at that point, CJ deserves a little bit of grace, but he's been unbelievable. Like he's underachieved, and you start to worry about it, because at this point you got to talk about extending him. Are you going to pay for this when Davis Mills can go out here and not make mistakes and beat playoff teams, especially in close games?
You got
this is a bad performance. At least a bad taste in the mouth.
We've seen people had to go get Phillip Rivers off the scrap heap. Like, he's still a starting quarterback. I mean, I think you go get him a better offensive coordinator. I think he's had a different offensive coordinator all 3 years, like the last 3 or 4 years. And I like DeMeco. I don't know. What was your thoughts, Justin?
Well, yes, I think the obvious is CJ. The same spiel I just gave to Josh Allen, CJ can get the same exact thing. So I won't repeat that. What I will say is this: I think the criticism is on CJ just a little bit more, is because we know what that defense was. They held the Patriots to 28 points when they spotted them an extra 4 possessions. Like that's big time, man. That's you can break 28 points down to one score a quarter. So you couldn't keep up with that in a sense. So it does lead to other people saying maybe it's time for you to look elsewhere. Maybe just a average quarterback could have just maintained. I mean, when you hear a stat like if CJ was just to do the QB kneel, like to just throw the ball down to stop the clock, he would have had a better passer rating than what he got. That's hard to.
But that's also on play calling, though, guys. If you watch that, they could have ran the ball some more. I mean, like Mark was actually pretty effective when he was touching the ball. You got Nick Chubb. Like once he was throwing one pick or two, it's like he could do he lost his confidence. Like slow the game down a little bit. Like, he was throwing them back to back. Go ahead.
So it's either that. It definitely is confidence. It's his confidence. It definitely took a hit. I don't know whether he thought his rookie year was just supposed to be like the normal, like this is just the NFL, and I don't know. I don't know what he's doing off the field. I don't know if he's studying as much as he should. Is he valuing the position that he has? These are questions I don't know, but they have to figure something out because he hasn't been as good as he was his rookie year. He has digressed every single. Is Tank Dell that important to him? Maybe he needs Tank Dell.
But he lost both of them. Nico was gone too.
I get that,
but he looked like trash in the Pittsburgh game too.
He wasn't necessarily dominating before that. So maybe something else there. These are things that we don't know that only CJ knows, and CJ has to do some soul searching because his time is. I'm not saying it's up, but it's questionable now, especially when Bryce Young started to turn the corner. Like, and he was supposed to be the one that's way better than him. So it is on CJ to figure out. It is on that organization. It's on a head coach. It's on an offensive coordinator. Maybe you need to find somebody else that can tap into him with Paul's a little bit better. These are things that they have. The Houston Texans have to figure out because this defense. I don't know how long they're going to be as dominant as they are. I mean, they're not shutting teams down like the 2000 Ravens or nothing. But at the end of the day,
they get after the quarterback and they got some.
At the end of the day, I mean, they did get 5 sacks on Drake May. Like they're doing their job and it's good enough to win a Super Bowl, and that's what people know. You have a Super Bowl winning, Super Bowl caliber defense. Just don't turn the ball over, and he did the exact opposite.
You know, that game just made me appreciate pass rush so much, man. I would kill just for one of those.
Yeah.
Just one of those guys, man. Will Anderson Jr. is a monster, man. Then they'll hunt any of them. Just sit, like, come on, Eric, do something.
It's the motor. You when you watching football, you can learn to appreciate some guys' motor. They don't stop. You think that you got him. You almost pancaked him. He came out of nowhere, got his stuff together, and still made a play. A lot of teams don't have that, including the Tampa Bay. So I'm speaking for myself at this. And
I'm going back to why would you trade Oweh when you ain't got nobody to place him? But anyway, let's move on.
Always showed out with new teams. That didn't even matter.
Anyway, the Seattle Seahawks defeated the San Francisco 49ers 41-6. Absolute dominant performance. Probably the most it was the most dominant performance of the playoffs. San Francisco, a team that beat Philadelphia Eagles last week. We didn't talk about that game because we didn't have a show. But shout out the 49ers for the valiant effort with all the injuries. They took it as far as they could, but they ran into a real buzzsaw. It is what it is. Got Robert Saleh is now taking over the Tennessee Titans head coach job after his defense got blitzed and gave up that many points, but that wasn't all on him. It just ran into a buzzsaw. I want to take a moment to give a shout out to the Seattle Seahawks head coach, our former defensive coordinator, Mike Macdonald, who has done an excellent job going out there to Seattle, putting together a hell of a campaign. And he's built something, man. And this team could very much make their way to the Super Bowl if they defeat the Los Angeles Rams this week. Oh, man, just a sensational performance by and Sam Darnold didn't have to do much. That's been the theme here recently because they've just been so dominating. Unfortunately, they lost Zach Charbonnet for the year with a season-ending injury. But we'll see what they're able to do next week. But for this one, this was great. This was dominating. Calvin.
Yeah. Dominant performance by that Seattle defense. They are truly tough to beat at home, and they're the number 1 seed for a reason. Especially, but if you go back and look, they dominated against San Francisco the last week of the regular season when the number 1 seed was on the line. It was a low-scoring game, but they dominated in all facets of the game as well, especially on that defense. Mike McDonald has that defense playing like it's the Legion of Boom plus a pass rush. They're just getting after the quarterback. They're making plays, and they have young linebackers. I believe that middle linebacker is a rookie. He's in the running for defensive rookie of the year. And the adjustments that he makes in games after seeing one play and then seeing the same formation is just a deep dive. And they're playing smart. They're playing fast. And this is a Mike McDonald defense. And when you add that to a quarterback that just doesn't make mistakes with the run game and with the number 1 receiver like JSN, who's been playing like the best receiver in football all year long, when you after you lose a DK Metcalf, after you lose another receiver as well, this team is a complete team, and playing at home is just tough. And they have a great coach, Mike McDonald. Some say he should have been here in Baltimore. That's another story, but it's a great win. This is a great one in a dominant fashion, and just shows that Seattle thinks that they're the best team in the NFL right now.
Do you think Bisciotti sees what McDonald done out there in Seattle, and that pissed him off that he didn't fire Harbaugh earlier?
Yes.
So after the AFC Championship game 2 years ago would have been when he would have done it.
I'm a firm believer. I think that if they won the title that year, Harbaugh was leaving and McDonald's going to be the head coach.
But they didn't. So you think Harbaugh would have been fired after that?
No. Do I think he would have been fired? No. Do I think Bisciotti looks at McDonald, think he would let one slip away? Yes, but I don't think he would have been fired after the AFC Championship game. No.
I think it's a collective thing. That's a good question. I think it's a collective thing. I think it's when you had the Liam Cohens of the world, Mike Variables of the world, that's coming into newer teams in a sense, and they're changing, and they're making a bottom feeders into the division winners. And I would think that would include McDonald with that process. Not the same necessary timeline, but the turnover.
They weren't okay.
And then you're going and you're winning 10 plus games, and you see your team struggling to get to 10. I think that's the collective here.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be interesting, man, because Salah's going out there to Tennessee. They have $93 million in cap space. Like, that is by far the highest in the NFL.
I thought somebody had 100. I could be mistaken.
I'm looking at the list right now. The Titans have 93. The Raiders have 82. Chargers have 80.
I was thinking about the Raiders. Okay.
The Seattle Seahawks are in the NFC Championship game right now, and they have the 4th most cap space in the NFL with $71 million to spend next year. So this team could get better. That is scary. They traded away DK Metcalf. They went young, and they have nothing but young players on that team. JSN is still on a rookie deal. They went young, and they about to wreck this league, man. McDonald is set up for the future. But anyway, so Salah loses this game, takes over that Tennessee job. Going to be very interesting matching him with a young quarterback. They got money. They can do some spending. We're going to have to keep an eye on this Titans team.
They're rumored to Pickens is rumored to go to them as well.
Okay, we'll see. Very interesting stuff. Final game for the past weekend. The Rams defeated the Chicago Bears 20-17. Guys, I love football. I've been watching it my whole life. I've been struggling. I think the only play I can remember that was this clutch was when Aaron Rodgers rolled
against Arizona.
Rolled right, they went back left and threw that deep Hail Mary. Good God, I reckon. And one against the Cowboys too. They set him up in field goal range. Yeah. On the down the left rail.
The Arizona was a touchdown one. This is
but I saw the one that set up the game winning kick to beat y'all in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm saying the Arizona one was better in my opinion.
I don't know. I think both of them was great.
The Arizona one was a Hail Mary
the fact that I can
throwing
make
it
2 of
60
them,
yards.
and the Arizona one wasn't in the playoffs. This one was in
It was the playoffs. It was the wild card round.
Did he win it with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Both of them was clutch. I think that throw by Caleb Williams was better than both of them because he went back 40 yards, like throws it off his back foot on 4th down and hits a receiver in the not Coastal Loveland. It was other tight end.
Loveland.
It was
Loveland.
No, that was Komet. I thought
Komet.
it was Komet.
Yeah, Cole Komet. Yeah, Loveland was out with a concussion. Yeah. It was he had an arm injury or something. And Cole Komet catches the ball in the back and is like, man, I went crazy, man. That was nuts. But unfortunately, the magic carpet was pulled out from underneath him. Caleb, take it away. I think DJ Moore didn't flatten out on that route. Caleb threw it to a spot, and the defender beat him there. It is what it is. Caleb went out on the shield. Second-year player. I think he's living up to all expectations that people have for him. He's going to be a great player in this league. But shout out to the Rams, get a big victory, moving on to the NFC Championship game. Justin, what's your thoughts?
What a difference a year makes. And this I guess maybe the same time last year, JD5 was getting all the praise. You know,
with a Hail Mary he threw. Yeah.
So, I guess time is everything. As you guys know, giving weekly guesses here, predictions, and I was not on Chicago at all. Like it took the entire season, and then I said, you know what, for the first game in the playoffs, I go with Chicago, and I think I finally became a believer. Caleb Williams made me a believer, and yes, he got 3 turnovers, and yes, he can still get better. But what you have, and similar to JD5, you have as long as we close, we got a shot. And I'm just trying to tell you, like, if you ever play any type of football, any type of competitive sport, when you look over at your partner in a sense and say, like, yo, do we got a chance? And he looking right back at you like, yo, there's no doubt we scoring on this one. Like that's you can't have that any better than that. And that's the type of inspiration that Caleb has. It don't matter. He didn't perform so well that people are talking about actually getting fingernail painting on their nails to match what he's doing. Like he flipped it. That's impressive. You feel me? And I'm not even like joking. I know I'm joking, but I'm really not. Like he performed that well. So shout out to him. But at the end of the day, the person that made the less turnovers, the person that kept their team in the hunt, the person that as the equipment guy was running towards the sideline, he threw off his jacket, and the equipment guy just swooped it up in one motion. It was poetry. The MVP of this league, Matthew Stafford, performed well enough to secure the victory and go on to the second to the next round. So that's what it's all about. Devontae made key plays when needed.
He made one play. He made one catch.
That was a great goddamn catch.
He had 2 catches the whole game.
You must have bet on him.
Kyle Williams played very well.
Kyle Williams was the MVP of the game. He was fantastic.
No doubt. Yeah. So sometimes did you put your team in a position to win, or did you put your team in a position that you made them lose? And unfortunately, when you had turnovers, that's what happens. Matthew Stafford didn't have any.
So let me ask y'all 2 questions. One, do you view his 3 turnovers differently than Josh Allen's 4 turnovers?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
100%. I'm sorry.
Expectations
are different.
I'm about to say one's an MVP and one's a second-year pro.
There you go. And I think when you turn the ball over and how you bounce back from the turnovers. Now, I didn't like the last interception, but I could also excuse it away and way like he threw it to an open spot where the receiver should have won, but he just kept going up. Defender made a hell of a play on the ball. I don't think he needed to take that chance. They were in field goal range. It's overtime. I mean, they were marching towards field goal range. They were moving the ball well.
But if they get field goal range, they win because
that's my point.
LA had the ball first.
He didn't need to throw it. And I think with another year in that offense, I think he'll only get better.
And the good thing
Remember,
is his offensive
this was the
coordinator
same
is his
guy.
head coach.
I don't think that really matters.
Wait, I mean that in a way that he's not losing his offensive coordinator. That's what
Oh
I mean.
yeah, definitely. I'm just saying remember back before the season, people were joking him because he was throwing the ball to the net and missed it or something like that.
Hit it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still think he struggles with some of his accuracy on the easy throws or the medium throws. But when you got the spectacular down, you can learn the rest. You know what I mean? He'll be fine. I just think the man has such phenomenal moxie. You know what I mean?
Is this the greatest quarterback class? Is this the greatest quarterback class?
Too early to tell.
Of this century.
Century?
I think it's top 2.
Let's go. You got
Caleb, JD5, Drake May, Bo Nix. I mean, you got Penix and McCarthy, but I ain't counting them.
And who's your comp?
You got Baker, Lamar, Sam Darnold,
Josh
Allen.
I think that gets it.
I mean, they had more years.
Which one was Patrick Mahomes in?
It was that 2016.
He went 10th. Yeah.
That was the who was drafted, the quarterback that was drafted in Chicago first. Went to North Carolina.
Trubisky?
Yeah, that was Trubisky, Trey Lance. That was them too. So
I think because Lamar, Josh have won MVPs, and they are like the faces of the NFL right now. It's not like, you know what I mean? Mahomes is a different realm by itself, but Burrow came out with.
He came out in 2020 because he won the title in 2020, so he came out in 2020.
Yeah, Trevor came out by himself. He
might have came out the year before.
Undisputed number 1 pick. Yeah, I mean, this is a great class. I mean, however you divide it up, these are some tremendous classes.
I mean, I understand they've only been 2 years, but in 4 years or 5 years, will you have multiple quarterbacks that have won MVP from this class, like you did with 2018?
Oh, that's what my problem. Not problem, and I think that's a good problem to have. When you have a lot of guys who cancel each other out, it's going to be difficult for that to happen. What I mean is, we all go back to Peyton, Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Eli, Ben Roethlisberger. That was like the big 6 at the time or whatever like that. But you didn't have that second tier, you know what I mean? You had guys that came in and out. You had your Donovan McNabbs. You had your Michael Vick, who splashed here and there. You had like guys, but nobody was who was the MVP perennially every year. It was either going to be a Peyton or it was going to be Aaron Rodgers when he came along. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you're going to be passing MVPs around with this draft class. I think this was an anomaly year because Mahomes hasn't been up to par. Now, news came out that they hired Eric Bieniemy. They're looking to get him back down in Kansas City. So that might help him once he comes back, get that offense back on track. Because I think that's a quiet story that a lot of people not really talking about.
No one's talking about it. It's so bad that I thought that was Montgomery on some of these pictures that I saw.
It's a quiet story that the Chiefs' offense have not been the Chiefs' offense in a while. You know what I mean? And if you're losing Kelsey, you're losing some other pieces. At some point, you can't just keep saying Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. Like, at some point, you got to update your resume. And to do that, you have to put some pieces around him and get his offense back to where it was. And he got to start putting up some numbers that justify that claim that he's the undisputed best quarterback. And when you got a Caleb, when you got a JD5, when you got these young guys coming along, they're not waiting. You know what I mean? They like, hey, we here now. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. I think it's great for the league that we sit here coming up this weekend. We about to do our picks. The final 4 is Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, and the old guard and Matthew Stafford, who's like at one point was considered a bust. If you recall, he was a great player, but he was that guy that in Detroit, a lot of people didn't think he could win. He had to go to LA. I think it's a great story for guys who might not work out in your first place, might not find championship success. Maybe you do need to change the scenery. Maybe you do need to go link up in a different organization. Sam Darnold could be in that same boat. Now, I don't think he's playing at that level of on the field, like playing like Matthew Stafford, anything like that. But sometimes you hook up with the right organization, you can rewrite your story. So I'm going to shoot it to you just like that, Calvin. NFC Championship game this weekend. Seattle Rams in Seattle. Who you got?
Just realized that both coaches is Sean and Mike versus Sean and Mike, which is weird. I don't think that's ever happened before. Both of these games were close. The Seattle game, which I believe was the Thursday night game, which was the higher scoring of the two. And that's kind of when Seattle kind of solidified their position in NFC West and overall in the playoffs. But I still think when it comes down to it, I don't trust Sam Darnold to make plays in the clutch when needed. I still think that if it's his defense, okay. But if he's down and I need him to drive and get a touchdown because he's down 4, I got more confidence in Stafford than I have in Sam Darnold to do that. I do think this is Sean McVay's offense versus Mike McDonald's defense. There's so much familiarity. It's not going to be anything new that they're going to do. It's a matter of who executes more. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think this is their year. I think they fumbled the division early on, losing to Seattle and then losing to Carolina a week or two later. But I do believe this is the Rams' year. This is when they exercise the demons against Seattle in Seattle, and they beat them and go to the Super Bowl.
Justin, who you got?
I also go with the Rams. I just think it's Matthew Stafford just trying to win it one more time. It's always good to see some of these older quarterbacks do it, and I guess this might be his time to kind of stamp his legacy. It is there, like you were saying. He does have did he get MVP or was that Aaron Donald that year?
He never won MVP.
I'm talking about Super Bowl MVP. It was Aaron Donald?
I think it was.
No, he might have won it. He might have won it.
Okay. But no, just to stand.
No, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp.
Yes, because OBJ got hurt. Yes.
Okay, bet. Yes. Yeah, so it's winning one for him, that kind of a vibe. Like I said, it's a quarterback thing now. It's who's going to make the less turnovers. I don't have Matthew Stafford creating or having more turnovers than Sam Darnold. I just don't. And this is Sam's time to prove himself. Like, this is it, bro. Like, if you really want to say that you're like, rehabbed and you're one of the best quarterbacks right now, it's just not because of the team that you're on. It's not because of the circumstance that you're in that that you're really that guy. Then this is the time to prove it. I don't think he's going to do it though. And I think they're going to get to him because the Rams defense, it's not nothing to sneeze at. They're solid themselves. And McVay is not Shanahan. He's going to show him why he's not Shanahan. And I believe that the Seattle's going to lose this game.
Well, I'll be that guy. I'm sorry. I just haven't been impressed with the Rams. I really have not.
They've been squeaking by.
They should have lost to Carolina 2 weeks ago. Let's call it what it is. Carolina had them. They should have lost last week to the Bears. Again, Caleb had no reason to throw that ball. They were marching down the field, getting run after run. Like, that Rams defense was absolutely terrible the last probably month of the season. Like, Atlanta ran through them. I mean, everybody had that pound of flesh off of this Rams team here lately. And I have not been impressed. The Carolina win was a squeaker. They barely beat the Bears, and that game was a defensive struggle. They held Puka Nacua. They held Devontae to 2 catches the whole game. They stopped the run until late again. It went to overtime, so it wasn't like it was like either way. But I just have not been impressed with this Rams offense. I think they take stints off. I think they get tight. mobility of Matthew Stafford is non-existent, and you are going up against this Seattle team who doesn't need the blitz to get home. They get pressure with 4. They can play coverage on the back end. You in Seattle. Look, you went to Carolina. Comparing the atmosphere of Carolina and Chicago to Seattle, I don't know, dog.
I'm comparing it to a Rams team that's used to that atmosphere because they've been there. They've been in every year for the last 10 years.
And the last time they was there, they lost.
And the last time they was there, they were up 16-17, and then you had a couple turnovers, and then they got a 2-point conversion late, if I remember correctly, to win the game.
But then
so
the
they ended up winning.
So they put up
So they put up what 38, 39 on that defense.
First time.
No, that was the second time. But the second time was in Seattle. The first time the Rams won, it was like 18-16. It was a low scoring game. But the second time was the highest scoring game.
Second time on that 2-point conversion thing or whatever like that. And then they tried to pitch it backwards. Don't matter. Seattle's better than them. And I think Seattle's going to prove it. I think this whole year has been weird. Like, and to me, to cap off a weird year, I think Sam Darnold hosting the NFC Championship trophy will be apropos. I really do. And I don't think that this Rams defense, Jared Verse, good player. But the pass rush has not been there. They let Caleb run all over the place. I mean, Caleb put on a show.
Caleb was more mobile than Sam Darnold. I'm not comparing that.
I think they just run a different offense. I think it'll be fine. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah,
Seattle's defense.
I'll give them that.
I think that they don't have a DB that can stick with JSN. Name them. In Seattle, Chicago didn't have a number 1 receiver. DJ Moore is not JSN. Carolina, look, McMillan, I thought he did a good job, like down the stretch. But
if I remember correctly, Puka put up 220 on or 230 on them in Seattle.
What he put up last week?
I'm talking about against Seattle specifically. I'm not talking about last week. We're talking about Rams in Seattle. Puka went to, if I remember correctly, that was a game a bunch of people won money on because it was so high scoring, and Puka had put up numbers. There was no
Devontae Adams.
I don't remember if that was the game he got hurt. I could look it up, but I don't remember if he got hurt that game or not, or the game before and missed that game. But
hey, you bet however you bet. I'm telling you who's gonna win the game, and I believe it's a Seattle.
There was no Devontae that week.
So it is what it is. I got the Seahawks. Y'all got the Rams. We know how that goes. I won the season betting contest. We all know that.
What, a game or two?
No, it was multiple games. Don't try that. Don't try to rewrite history now.
Pull up the slide.
I pulled away
2 or 3 games.
Honestly, guys, let's stay on task and let's get to the.
We ain't nobody worried about you in distant third.
All right, let's go to the AFC.
That's why I'm saying I'm telling y'all to move on.
I'll start this one off. Look, I know a lot of people are saying Denver has no chance, but look, man, I looked at that game last week against against Houston. And if Jarrett Stidham was the quarterback for the Houston Texans, they probably would have beat the Patriots. Let's be honest. Jarrett Stidham could hand the ball off. Jarrett Stidham can hit a couple 5-10-yard routes. I'm going with the Broncos at home. I think the Broncos was winning this game. I think underrated. Not a lot of people talking about him. You got to give Sean Payton credit, man. Sean Payton has done a hell of a job with this team. Look what he did with Bo Nix. Everybody was critical of Bo Nix, said he couldn't do certain things. And he liked Jarrett Stidham. He went out and got him. He said, I think y'all going to be surprised how I got – remember, Jarrett Stidham was a New England draft pick who that offensive coordinator, what's his name? Used to be with Belichick all them years. He there now.
Not McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels. Loved Jarrett Stidham. He went out and personally got him. So I really think a lot of people are just assuming New England's just going to cakewalk this game. But that plan in Mile High against that defense and the turnovers they create, I'm going with the Broncos at home. I got Denver and Seattle in the Super Bowl. That's my pick. I know I'm going out on the limb, taking the backup quarterback. And what does that say about Bo Nix? But I just think Sean Payton will do a good job calling the ball game. They might get J.J. Dobbins back, extra running back this week. Never know. But either way, I like what their running game has been doing. And I think they got a chance, man. Justin, who you got?
You know, Stidham he's closer to Bo Nix versus, let's say, Josh Allen and his backup. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're not. It's not like Bo Nix was like lighting the whole league on fire. So, you know, if you have a quality backup, especially one that you think that you can coach up, it's not going to be that much of a drop off, in my opinion. I still think they're going to lose, but it's not going to be like, oh, because of the quarterback play. You know, I just think that the Patriots are a better team. I think they're just a little bit hotter. They survived. They didn't survive. They beat the Texans. I think Denver kind of survived versus Buffalo, and you know, Drake May. You know, he didn't turn the ball over. He got a couple sacks, but you know, that's a tough kid, man.
Drake May turned the ball over multiple times.
I said he got a couple turnovers, but you know, he got a couple sacks too. So you know, but it's not necessarily. I think Drake is going to be. I think Mike and his squad is going to be a little bit more prepared, just a little bit, versus this Denver Broncos team. It's a tough thing. These teams are very similar. These teams are very similar, but I do believe the Patriots are going to get the victory in this one.
Calvin,
the only thing that worries me, I look at comparable games when Denver played Houston. It was a fairly low scoring game. Denver won, and they played Jacksonville, who had a pretty good defense this year. They gave up a ton of points at home and lost that ball game. One thing that's really stands out is that J.K. Dobbins could come back off IR, and then you have a three-headed monster at running back. And if you can control the clock and you can keep those guys fresh, and you keep New England off the field, they can't score points. I think the Denver defense is better than the New England defense. I think. I don't want to use I'm not going to use the New England hasn't played anybody argument, because you played who's on your schedule at this point, and they made the AFC Championship game. So you got to stop using that argument at some point. I do think Denver, by having a better defense, by being able to turn over Drake May and expecting less from Jarrett Stidham, we don't need you to win the game. We just need you not to lose the game. We're going to control the clock with our run game. We're going to give you these little easy passes. We're going to need you to convert third and four. I got Denver in this ball game. I've seen Sean Payton. He's a quarterback whisperer. I think he can make for 1 week. He can make Jarrett Stidham what he needs to do to win this ball game, and he give him 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl. All bets are off. And I think with Drake May and the hype being on him and him being compete for the MVP this year, we've kind of overlooked some of his flaws. He turns the ball over a lot. He can fumble a lot as well. The offensive line isn't playing up to par. And there you're going into Denver against that defense who's had the week off, played one less game than you have. I like Denver in this match. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be a real grinding out game, but I think Denver can win this ball game. I think they will.
Yeah. So I'm going with Denver, Seattle in the Super Bowl. That's my pick. Calvin, you're going with Denver and the Rams.
Denver and LA.
Yeah. And Justin, you got Denver. New England and the Rams. A rematch of
like that.
What, 1990? Was it 2001?
And a couple years ago, and 2018, 2019.
Wow, yeah, they did play each other twice. So that'd be the third time the Rams and the Patriots play. Wow, big stuff. I think that was a low scoring game. I think Brady.
Yeah, it was like 13 to 3, something like that.
Yeah.
Jared Goff last year in LA.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Let's move on to college football. Shout out to the Indiana Hoosiers. We're not talking about basketball. We're talking about football. This is like a real life reenactment of the movie Hoosiers, but instead of basketball is football. Look, shout out to possibly. I've never seen a turnaround like this from any program. I don't think there has been one. So it's nothing to compare it to. This is the first new national champion, I think they said, since like 1994. So
since Nebraska or something like that.
Yeah, since 1994, we haven't had a new college that has never won a championship. So for Indiana, who's traditionally a basketball school, to go out and get Canetti and
Signetti.
I think they got Signetti. They got him 2 years ago from JMU, and brung him in. He brung his transfers. He was able to get Mendoza, who wasn't even good enough to walk on to Miami, and he took him, made him his quarterback. And look, Cincinnati is one of those guys. He was on Nick Saban's staff down there in Alabama. Every coach that was in this playoff was on Nick Saban's staff at some point. But it was his rep was he was a hell of a motivator. He's no nonsense guy. One of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen, and he got it done. A perfect 14-0, I believe. En route to a national championship, defeating the Miami Hurricanes last night, and now Mendoza's on his way to the NFL, perennial number 1 overall pick in the draft. But the U goes down. They put up a hell of an effort. Justin, I know you're a Hurricanes fan. What's your thoughts on this ball game?
It's like sometimes you wait until the worst time in order to have some of your bad habits. I say that to say Beck didn't play the best game I want him to play. The first couple games of this playoffs, he's been spectacular. But his weaknesses showed up. For one, his lack of arm strength showed up, especially on the interception. He floated that joint out there, and that's just him. Malachi Tony balled out. 10 receptions, balled out. Fletcher balled out. The defense, the defense, we probably had one of the best defenses in the nation. And we didn't do enough, I think, in that early beginning to put pressure on Mendoza. We kind of gave him time to get settled. And then I guess we maybe increased the pressure, but then they started to go with the RPO. It's like they was waiting. Like, y'all gonna flip the script. Boom, here go this run pass option. And then we had to get adjusted to that. Like they just, damn, I say we got out coached. Like they just one step ahead of us. Then the whole game. We did better in the second half, but when it was time for us to just put our money where our mouths were, especially where Mike Irvin's mouth is, we couldn't get the job done, and it sucks. But if you're telling me how do I feel moving forward, I think we put the whole nation on notice. Miami is a contender, so that means when NIL deals start to come around, like, yo, do you want to play for Miami a year ago? People said no, of course not. Why would I want to do that? Y'all ain't going nowhere. Well, we went to the national championship, so hopefully we get better recruits along the year. Shout out to Indiana. They had a phenomenal game plan, phenomenal talent, undefeated through the whole season. There's nothing that you can say, nothing bad that you can say about this team. And when the chips were down, Mendoza, bro, that run was very John Elway-ish, just to take hits and to dive like that. Like, yo, that's when I saw that, I was just like, yep, that's it for us, homeboy. And he made plays where Beck did not, and that's just sometimes it's just that simple when it comes to a ball game. Hard for a ball game, and like I say, I feel happy that I can actually root for college football teams again. It was, like I said, a great showing, great playoffs all around, upsets and all these things along the way. Notre Dame, I'm sorry. This was supposed to be y'all. Shout out for y'all not being in the conference of Miami. Took that spot, and we took it all the way to the championship. So it is what it is.
Hey, at least y'all made a run.
The only thing I'll say, I didn't understand I didn't completely agree with the defensive game plan. I guess I could say I understand the first half when that defensive line was just playing just playing all out, giving us all, and you just playing the corners off, 7 to 8 yards. I forgot the name of the corner that was suspended, so I guess that played a part when you didn't have him in the first half. But I felt like that they had a chance to be more aggressive in the first half, knowing that they're the underdog, and try to take advantage of the defensive line that was playing phenomenally in that first half, in my opinion. Knowing you're underdog, knowing you're outman, you're outgunned. I think you got to do more. And then in the second half, the offense, the Indiana offense, Curt Cincinnati just kind of figure out that Miami defense. If you're a team, college or pro, I don't see why you don't give him a blank check. If you could turn Indiana into an offensive powerhouse, Indiana, I think it's no 4 or 5-star recruits on that team, and you turn them into an offensive powerhouse in 2 years to win a title, that says a lot.
He said he ain't going nowhere. He said he home for life. He a made man. I mean, on
Oh
the
yeah,
town.
in Indiana, he a made
Why
man.
would he go anywhere? And I never understood that about certain places, like coaches. Like, what are you getting? Like that idiot who went
Lane Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin. Why the hell would you leave there? Like, you're a made man. Like they laying out the red carpet for you. Like, bro, and y'all made the playoffs. Like, again, I will never understand that. Looks like if I'm a great coach, I'm going to University of Maryland. I'm going Minnesota. I'm going like somewhere where I can plant my flag. And if I turn this around, look what this guy just did. He went to Indiana, brought all his players. He said, no. I'm taking everybody good, and I'm going to attract more. And if I win here, it's going to give me even more credit if I go to Miami or Oklahoma or one of these stalwarts who they expecting national championships every year, and you competing against the same guy. Like, I just phenomenal job, man. Phenomenal job. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Good stuff for him. Let's move on to the NBA because we got some stuff to cover before we get out of here. I know Justin got a timeline. We have All-Star game starters that came out this week. It's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. LeBron James not on the list for probably the first time in his career, I believe it is. They said LeBron's not a starter. In the East, you have Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, and Tyrese Maxey as your 5 starters. In the West, you have Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Shea, Nikola Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama. Now, Wemby, I get why he was voted there, but I don't think he played enough at that level to be voted. But I get it. It's politics. He's very popular overseas, things of that nature. Calvin, did you feel anybody was snubbed from being a starter in the Eastern Conference?
I don't think Jokic should have been a starter just based on the fact that he's not going to play in the All-Star game. I don't think he should have been named a starter. I mean, I think that basically means the coach picks his replacement instead of the league or how it goes. But I think that should have gone to Jamal Murray, who's played phenomenally over the last 10 games with Jokic out, who's helped that team go. I think they're either 8-2 since Jokic went out. I'm just saying because Jokic is not going to play, he should not have been a starter, in my opinion. Not for any other reason. If he played, yes, he should have been a starter. But because he's not going to play, no. It's the only problem I got.
Okay. What about the East? Oh, you don't have no problem with either one?
I don't have no problems with the East. I don't have no problems with the East.
Justin, your thoughts?
For me, I agree with the West notion that maybe Jokic. I mean, well, starters is one thing. I think Jokic is clearly he's not going to play. So that leaves an open spot. And I think Anthony Edwards takes that spot because he deserves to be an all-star. He has been balling out this first half of the year. So I think that's for the West. That's my only slight there, but he's going to eventually start, so I'm not worried about it. Now the East is different. I don't have a problem with who they picked so far. All players has been doing great, especially, shout out to, I know we joked about it last time when we was talking about like players or whatever, but Jaylen Brown has been balling, man. And I just want to give his own shout out when it comes to that. But if I had to replace anybody, maybe Maxey.
Come on, Maxey been balling.
He has been. Like I
team
said,
is trash, but even balling.
If I had to, I'm fine with who they have. But
who replacing with who?
Jalen Johnson out of Atlanta.
He's falling off. I don't think he's had a good month. Like, go back and look. Like,
but I'll take what he did. That's why I say I'll take what he did. The triple doubles and everything like that. He's been, especially with Atlanta, where that's a destitute place right now. They're trying to get their stuff back together. They're in flux right now. But that was me stretching when it comes to that. Like I don't have a problem with the 5 that's out there.
I honestly don't think, and Wemby is great. Don't get me wrong. I think you can take Wemby and Yoke off of the starters list. I think you can name them as all-stars, but Wemby has not played like consistently a starting all-star in the West. I want to give a shout out to Kevin Durant. I think Durant has been great. Like, I think Durant has played consistent, kept that team in contention. I think he's a leader. He's been healthy. I mean, why wouldn't you put him up there? I mean, I know he's older and all, but what has he done that doesn't give him a nod? And he's got the veteran status. I think he's been a good motor for that team. I don't see why Durant not getting any love. Maybe it's just not. He's not everybody's favorite type player. But even if you just look at the standings, look, they right there. They right there. It's not like the team is bad. They in contention. I agree with your Anthony Edwards take. He deserves some love as well. But I really that puzzled me a little bit. And then those boys out in Portland, like I think they'll be on the bench. Don't get me wrong. Like they got some ballers out there. Like
Denny obvious.
Yes, like
you remember him from the Wizards.
I just think Steph. I don't know, man.
It's the only time you're gonna see Steph on prime time. They
Steph
probably
has
making
not
playoffs
played
now.
like that great. It would be just just write his name in. If you can leave LeBron off, you can leave anybody off. I mean, so that fact, I would take Steph off. I would take Wemby off. I would take Jokic off. I think I would definitely give. I know he's had some. Anthony Edwards had some injuries as well, but I think he's played better. I put Anthony Edwards on that team over Steph
and the other two.
And Luka will be my starter. The other two, he said, who's the other two? If I had to choose, look, at the end of the day, who's played consistently? Kevin Durant would be my other one. And then, hey, man, if you're looking for a big man, I get it that we're looking at positionless basketball. But if you're looking for a big man in the Western Conference, look at the standings. I think standings matter. And you have to give some credit to the job that is being done at Los Angeles Clippers. Look, I know it's not a popular name, but the big fella out there be balling. I bet on him all the time.
You said standards and then
Zubac.
pick a player from the 10th.
Zubac is balling, though. Go look at how he be playing on night in, night out.
You said standings matter and then picked a player from
he in the play-in, ain't he? He in the tournament. Say no, I'm cool with it. I was just messing around, but the Wemby was not bad. Giannis, I don't know if he's played enough games to qualify. I really Giannis has missed a lot of games this season. Like I don't know. Paolo hasn't played up to his potential. But on the low, defending what Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Bam, he's been balling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying for the whole year, but he's consistent. You know what I mean? He gets his rebounds. He plays high-energy basketball. Embiid has had a solid first half of the year. Like, Embiid putting numbers up again. Like, go look at it. He is. So, I mean, I'm sure he will make the All-Star team. Do y'all think he'll be a reserve?
Bam or Shea?
Embiid. Joel, he playing better than Cat. I tell you that much. I tell you that much. Cat is a waste of skin. I'm so sick of that guy. I'm never betting on him again. Ever. Don't count on it, Justin. And y'all lost like 8 or 10. Like, it's ridiculous. What is going on? Let's talk about that. Let's get to the East. Go on, Justin. Tell us about the Knicks.
I don't know. They don't know. Mike Brown don't know. Jalen Brunson don't know.
I predicted that.
Karl Anthony Towns don't know. Stephen A. Smith don't know. Spike Lee don't know. No, man, it's just it's a couple things. I guess I try to be analytical first. Mike did employ a run and gun system. And I think we might have been just a little bit too old, just a little older the truth to maintain that level of high offense and then still play defense with it. Maybe at spurts, and I think that's something that I think he's definitely trying and trial and erring with. Is like, when do you tell him to press? When do you tell him to fall back? So he has to work on that. 2, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know. He doesn't have a motivating purpose to play other than, hey, I need to go out there. He doesn't know what he needs to do. You're a veteran. You should be able to figure that out. That's frustrating. Mikal Bridges has been underperforming as of late. We're starting to go back to, well, because we're not running and gunning, it's JB dribble. Jeez, that's Tibbs all the way, and we're trying to get away from that. The younger guys that we had, they're starting to slow down in their performance. It's just we hit a mid-season turnpike, and we gotta round this thing out, and we're gonna see what's going on with it towards the end of the season. But it's tough. If you ask me what I would do to change right here, right now, I told y'all that OG was untradeable. Get his ass out of here with Karl Towns and bring in Giannis. Just that's what I tell you to do.
It's not enough.
Actually, that is enough if you add Kuzma with that.
The fact that you're taking Kuzma, it lets me know that you're desperate.
It brings Giannis. Kuzma is just an afterthought.
Calvin, you got a lot to say. I'm coming to your way. What's going on with them Lakers?
Oh, defensively, we're ass. We're terrible. And then we know Austin Reeves. You're missing your third point guard, de facto point guard. Probably your third best player. And like I said, you can't play defense consistently. You're giving up a ton of points in the paint. Now, I will give credit to DeAndre Ayton, who had big game. He had what?
He was 100% from the field.
100% from the field with a double, and I think it was the first time it's ever happened for someone that took.
And this was like after they said LeBron was like getting in his ass stuff like last week.
Supposedly he's been trying to motivate the big guy a little bit more, but it's just been playing inconsistent from this point. You had to understand that them playing so many home games early in the season, and also the loss of Austin Reeves for what's been a month and so far. In addition to you've been playing poor defense, and it all comes into play. And I know JJ Redick is just frustrated with the defensive performance of this team week in and week out, and it's just finally caught up to him. They've went from 2nd to 6th in the standings thus far, and they're losing tonight, mainly because to a Denver team without Jokic, even though I said Jamal Murray's playing well, because you cannot play defense, especially on wings. You cannot stop him from getting to the basket. You cannot stop the penetration and kicking out for a 3-point line. And it's been consistent so far this year, and there's no move that you can make to fix this right now. You just got to get better within.
Hey man,
I have an update. There's been it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's all but confirmed that Mike McDaniel is choosing the Chargers over everybody else.
Oh yeah, I heard that earlier. Yeah,
no, the way they phrased it was like if he could still be a head coach in Vegas,
he withdrew from the Browns job.
He withdrew from everyone but Vegas and Baltimore, from what I read.
Yeah, but it seemed like he should be looking right now.
No, so they're saying like he took the Chargers job, but he can still be a head coach at one of those two places.
If they
that's how I read the article. Yeah,
interesting. Okay, all right. But back to basketball real quick. Look, man, I've said this at the beginning of the year, then I said it again around Christmas. If Boston keep playing like this, Jason Tatum come back. Watch out. Like, they not bad. They are not bad, man. And they playing well without him, but you add him back.
We are at the 8-month period in which if everything went perfect for Tatum, he can play right now. Mm-hmm. So they're taking the precautions. They're second
7-month period.
7th, 8th, like
we're there. When he got hurt. April,
yeah, we're there.
I thought it was May for some reason. Okay,
it's longer than that.
So yeah. They can hold him out for 2 more months, 3 more months.
Good. The team is doing fine.
The team is fine, and he's a veteran on that team. And yes, that is a team that I'll be slightly afraid
and the
of.
East has helped them out because there is no juggernaut.
Everybody but Denver. Everybody but Detroit.
Detroit 10 losses too. You know what I mean? It's not like, but everybody else bunch.
Everybody else struggling.
Everybody else. I mean, you number 2 with 16 losses, and OKC got 8 losses on the year. Like that's bad. Like that's bad. Like, yeah, this is a tough year, guys. This is a tough year. I will say that probably one of the more disappointing teams that I had a little bit more hope for was the Cavaliers, man. Just disappointing, man. Every time I watch them, I think they need a new coach. I really do. I think that is
Kenny Atkinson.
They have no offensive flow.
This is the same guy that they won 65 games with last year.
But a lot of that was just a guy pick and roll playmaking on. And remember, they lost some pieces, so it's not like it's the same roster. I really think it's too much dribble. Like you said the same thing about the Knicks. It's too much dribble. Donovan gonna bail us out. It's too much. No ball movement, and you got players like you got guys who can get shots up, and you just don't run good plays for them. A lot of it, and I try to watch them, and it's like, if they're not hitting threes, they're not winning. Like, it's no easy basket with this game, with this team. Jared Allen, it just is like you don't know how to use them, and just disappointing. Other than that, it's going to be interesting to see how things go. I'm pleasantly surprised about how Joel Embiid has bounced back, though. So that'll be interesting. And you say Maxey ain't winning games. Maxey playing his ass off. I don't care what nobody says.
That. You asked me to take somebody out for the starting five that I already agree with. That's all.
Okay. And Paul George actually hasn't been terrible this year.
Yeah,
just wait.
Fitting into his role, role nicely.
Just wait.
He's doing. He's taking shots away from VJ Escombe, who's taking any shot he can get and shooting. His percentages drop, but
terrible percentage. Shout out to the Golden State Warriors. Another injury, unfortunately. This time, Jimmy Butler done for the year. Was it ACL or Achilles?
It was one of the two. I think it was ACL. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah, he wasn't playing great anyway, but I think it's time to blow that up. They done. Yeah, they're done. Let's move it on. All right. Real quick, before we get out of here, wrestling. New champion since we talked. Drew McIntyre defeated Cody Rhodes a couple weeks ago. He is now the WWE champion. Justin, I know you love that.
Cody going number one in the Rumble too. Huh? I know you love that.
So they got Saturday Night Main Event this Saturday night. On Peacock. They got a 4-way for a chance to face Drew at Royal Rumble. Randy Orton, Sami Zayn.
So Sami winning, right?
Damian Priest, and you got Trick. Trick is up there as well. I think Sami wins. I think so. I think Sami wins, and then you have him challenge Drew in Saudi Arabia because Sami has those roots there. I don't think he beats Drew though. I think he loses. I really do. But Saturday Night Main Event always interesting that week before Royal Rumble. So it'll be like a preview for what we'll see the next week at the Royal Rumble. You also got Cody, a little bit of a grudge match because Jacob cost him the cage match in many ways for that title. A lot of the plans that I heard were blown up originally. So we really don't have a clear-cut path for WrestleMania, which makes it unpredictable, which I enjoy.
Why were they blown up?
Apparently there was
Cody and Drew.
Apparently Roman and Cody was a plan, and they decided to that'd be too predictable. In other words, Cody and himself, I'm tired of fighting Roman. Let's do something different. Let's mix it up. So Triple H decided, you're right. Let's do something different. We could always do Roman and Punk. We could always have a big match that we've never done.
Triple H didn't want to see Cody lose to Roman clean, in which he definitely thinks Cody is his poster child.
I think Cody hasn't won at Mania in a few years, so I think they wanted to. It's always better to chase than to go in as the babyface champion. So it was a chance for him to get a big win at Mania over the hill, probably against Drew. But I don't think they should do Drew again. We've seen that. We've seen it enough. I think they need to mix it up.
I think he still fight Roman. Why not? I don't.
Roman and Drew or just Roman?
Just Roman. Just get it out the way.
I wouldn't do it.
But
I would go with Punk. I would go Roman and Punk. I think there's a story there. Hell, I would go Cody and Punk. There's a hell of a story there. I mean, hell of a story. I could write it.
So you're gonna have two faces.
If you win the Rumble, you can pick whoever you want to face at Mania.
Cody's not winning again. Roman's not going to win.
It'll be interesting. You might do Braun Breaker. You never know. Like, there's options there.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I will say the field is wide open.
Yeah, I think the Braun Breaker scenario depends on Seth Rollins. how quickly he's coming back. Not to say he's going to wrestle, but to say he costs Braun Breaker his title shot.
Seth is probably ready now.
I don't know. There's money if he was already ready. You could start building stuff. I don't think.
I think it's all hands on deck for the Rumble because of the location. So I think if he was ready, he would been advertised. So that's just. I don't think you do a surprise entrance for him. With no build up.
I think the surprise this year will be Jericho, which I don't care about. I'm not.
Ain't no goddamn surprise.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It's going to be Jericho, Obafemi, which is a surprise, I guess. So.
Hey, good though. Good pops, And then you got the announced match for next week. AJ Styles and Gunther. AJ putting his career on the line. I was shocked that he's going to do it in Saudi Arabia. I thought he would wait till Mania, maybe.
I mean, I think he wins. I don't like this because I don't think he retires right now. So
I don't think he's beating Gunther. I don't. I think that's
it's interesting because yes, if he didn't have TNA ties, then I will 100% agree he's not losing the first month of the year. Like when they say that 2026 is last year. But because he's, it's a house that AJ Styles built, I can see him losing and say, my WWE career is over. Okay, now I'm in TNA, and I'll give TNA the last part of the year and to try to build that franchise up again because it's trouble.
I don't think you do it this early. That's the only thing. Maybe he doesn't.
But I don't think they're going to. I don't think he wants to drag it out like the Cena thing. I think he kind of already have been doing like a lot of his last matches. If you've been paying attention the last 6 months, he did his last match in Japan. He did his last. Like he already kind of told y'all. And remember, if you remember where AJ debuted, it was in 2016 at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
that's 10 years to 2026 at the Rumble. He might like that symmetry. You know what I mean? And then go into the Hall of Fame at Mania and say that'll be his swan song. He done. You know what I mean? The guy said
his contract is up in February. So this might be it.
Might be it, guys. Might be it. And if you really think about who AJ is, I don't think he cares what he's done it. I think going into the Hall at Mania is bigger for him. I think so. But I think giving Gunther that rub is what they really want to care about. So anyway, that's it for us tonight. That was a fun thing I had. Any other things y'all want to discuss before we get out here? I know, Justin, you got a hard out, but you were late, so we got a minute.
I don't like what you said there.
All right. Any other things? We good? All right. So big NFC, AFC championship games this weekend. We'll be back next week to discuss those. Getting into Rumble and WrestleMania season.
Ravens got a coach next week.
Really don't care. I don't have a pick. I don't like none of the options, to be honest with you. So, like, none of these people excite me. None of them. Not one of them. So, congratulations. You get the scraps.
A quick question. Have y'all watched Unreal Season 2 yet?
I thought it dropped today.
It did.
Oh, it dropped today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the first episode. I'm torn. Like I really don't want to watch it. Like
it's too inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen it. Like, all right, I get it. Y'all talk about different stuff, and I ain't trying to see not AJ. Who's LA Knight. I'm not trying to see LA Knight start a Triple H or Triple H that, you know what, we're gonna go with Seth on his Money in the Bank ladder match, and seeing the pitiful face that's being floated around amongst the airwaves and things like that. I'm not trying to see all that, man.
I think the show is not for you and I. The show is for the casual viewer. Netflix. Yeah. This is a show. You know what I mean? Because season 1 was pretty high rated. So they want the show, man. That's what it is. I'm enjoying it.
It's going to be a lot more Cena on it.
3 is going to be John Cena base. Last year, John Cena.
But this season ends with him at SummerSlam. So is it just for 3 months?
Maybe the end
probably enough for 2 episodes out the 4 that they give you or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Should be fun, man. Anyway, we'll be back next week. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you all watching. Be sure to share, subscribe, let everybody know. Get up, Dan Fitz. We'll be back next week, hopefully on Wednesday. We don't know. Sometimes it changes, but we appreciate y'all being flexible and jumping around with us and keeping us back. NFL's wrapping up. We're going to get into some more basketball, and college basketball is heating up too. If you've been paying attention to that, man, it's some stuff we need to talk about. We need to catch you all up. Good stuff. We'll be back next week right here. Get off the damn fence. Have a good night.